The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
27-20 on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys fall to the Cincinnati Bengals, and things just continue to snowball in this season of horrors for the Cowboys. 5-8 is now the record, but really it's not even about the record as much as it is about everything else that happened on Monday Night Football, and we're going to dive into it here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC podcast studio, alongside Patrik "No-C" Walker, Josh Rodriguez. Josh, by the way, great job hosting last week, my friend.
Cooked. I don't want to be around anymore.
Oh, don't say that.
I don't want to be here.
Turn that frown upside down.
Oh, wow.
I gotta go.
That's
You gotta go.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, man.
Bye.
It was good seeing you again. Yeah. It's funny, like we joke about it, but that's kind of what the fan base feels like right now. A lot of times,
I'm not joking.
I know you're not
I don't
joking.
want to be.
I know
It's always good to be with you guys.
the 7 previous losses. There was always some sense of frustration. Mm-hmm. There was some sense of anger, and everybody deals with a loss differently. So I'm sure there are some Cowboys fans that are dealing with it in a similar way for loss number 8 as they did for the first 7 losses. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to fan or how to feel whenever it comes to this loss.
Yeah.
However, the general sense that I have around what happened on Monday Night Football is everybody's just bummed. The Cowboys Nation is just dejected, and the air, whatever was left in the balloon, the air has now left the balloon, and it just feels like, okay, so that's how it ends.
Yeah. Not that there ever was a party happening in 2024, but there was a little bit of fun.
There was a chance for a party.
Yeah, there was a little bit of fun over that 4-day span.
Just positivity.
Yeah, especially in how you beat the Commanders in Washington and how wild and crazy that game was, and then you circle back 4 days later and you finally snap the losing streak at home against, and then it was against the Giants on Thanksgiving with everybody watching and you enjoying your turkey and the fixings and all of that good stuff. And nobody, I'm not going to say nobody, I don't want to generalize.
Yeah.
But most understood that while we were enjoying that, you weren't going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you were
course.
still enjoying it because the team
what was the
fighting.
percentage? Like
Right.
5%?
It was
or less than.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
But you were enjoying it because the team was showing fight. The coaches hadn't lost the locker room, and they still haven't lost the locker room.
Yeah.
But then when you look at yesterday's game and against Cincinnati, the defense again stepped up. We talked last week about where we rank in this defense as far as are they good yet? Are they above average? And we said they're more than solid. They're piecing some things together. For the most part, I mean, when you hold Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and that offense to only 20 points going into the final 2 minutes of the game, and it's a tie ball game, you just have to feel good about it. And then what happened immediately thereafter, it was quite literally the balloon popping. And you could hear all the air get sucked out of the stadium.
Yep.
You could hear in the press box, you could hear the air get sucked out of the press box. So as soon as Nick Vigil blocked that punt, you're talking about emotional whiplash, everybody, including those in the press box, they're like, holy crap. And before you could finish that statement, everybody was turned to yell, don't touch the ball, don't stay away from the ball. And once he touched that ball and muffed it and they recovered it, that's that.
Yeah.
Turn the lights out.
Everybody,
Lights out.
and I think Nick Eatman said this in the press box. It's like everybody knew in their heart, like you could just hear everyone like, stay away from the ball, stay away from the ball. As soon as the punt was blocked, everybody except for the one person that needed
Except
to know.
for the one person.
And that's tough for AO. Of course, he was activated just before the game, and you look at the locker room. Like him walking to the locker room with a towel over his head, just absolutely bummed because he knows that he just lost this game for the city of Dallas, for every Dallas Cowboy fan, right? then they go to the media. Of course, it's like, all right, well, we've got to talk to him, right?
Yeah.
But C.J. Goodwin does what
Stepped in front.
a leader does, and he stepped in for him, and he said, well, I understand it's your job to ask him about this performance, ask him about the play, but it's also my job to lead the special teams and protect him basically from the bombardment of inquiries that you're going to have for a player that was just trying to do the right thing and messed up.
And what sucks about it is, well, even more so, that play is it's not the only reason the Cowboys lost, but it is the defining moment.
It was 20-20,
that
and he blocked a punt that put them in.
Of not only that game, but that will go down as a microcosm of how the season has gone.
Yeah.
For the Cowboys.
There have been so many of those plays, though.
But that's going to go, and I hate this for AO, but that's going to go down in infamy. That's up there with Leon Lett, Terrence Williams not running out of bounds.
At least you have a Super Bowl with Leon Lett.
Fair.
And that season was a little bit more high intensity. I think the Leon Lett situation, and Nate Newton talked about it in postgame. He said Leon Lett hid in the X-ray room after the game, and you had to pry him out of there.
Man.
And so the same kind of feeling from Amani Owawarrior, but let's not get it twisted. I mean, the Cowboys were at 5-7. It goes back to what Patrick was saying a moment ago. Cowboys were at 5-7. You had to win out to give yourself a shot to even get into the postseason. Still have a -1% chance to get there still if you win out.
And there's no room for error.
Zero room. You can't lose again. So I don't think they're on the same level, but they're going to be compared because it was a special teams blunder on a similar play that could have won the football game, but instead it lost the football game.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's a football.
It will be compared.
Yeah, it's a football IQ play that cost the Cowboys a game. So whether it be Leon Lett, or like I said, whether it be more recently Nashawn Wright, or a little less recently Terrence Williams, although that was an offensive play. But for those of you who remember that game, Dez Bryant is literally screaming and pointing
get out of bounds,
get out of bounds, because they didn't have any timeouts. He didn't. He catches the ball, goes down because he was trying to be a hero. He was trying to get a few more yards, and that few more yards cost the game.
And then Dak goes under guard.
Right. In this
to
situation,
snap the ball.
AO was trying to be the hero. But the Cowboys didn't need a hero in that moment. They just needed you to get out of the way. And even,
Nick Vigil was already the hero on that play.
Yeah, Nick Vigil was the hero. So, and there's
get away
a
from the
reason
ball, man.
that kind of play the ball is called poison. You can get away from the poison, right? Just leave it be. Because, and I know some people are like, well, that's a stupid rule. Well, whether you believe it's a stupid rule or not, it's the rule, and it's coached into the players, and this is a 7-year veteran, and he's playing special teams. And then the other thing that crossed my mind was, okay, well, does Tyrus Wheat touch that ball, right? Because Tyrus Wheat, a good special teams guy, he was made inactive yesterday. AO was up for depth, things like that. But those are all things that can be second-guessed. But what should not be second-guessed is the fact that this is a 7-year player who's being coached up by arguably the best special teams coordinator in the game.
No doubt.
And before that play happens, before you run onto the field, you need to understand and let your coaching overrun your instinct and know that, hey, if this ball is blocked, no one else needs to touch it, including myself. So it's more than tough. It is absolutely devastating. And then what also sucks, the remainder of whatever molecule of oxygen was remaining in the room is the DeMarvion overshown.
Yeah.
So not only do you lose this game in the fashion in which you lose this game, but you lose a Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber talent for not just the rest of this season. As Jerry Jones told 105.3 The Fan, DeMarvion Overshown will require surgery to repair the damage in his right knee. His left knee is what was repaired his rookie season, ahead of his rookie season. But given the timing of it, and although tests are still being run to get his prognosis, it's safe to say, and I would love to be wrong here, but it's safe to say that we may not see DeMarvion Overshown until 2026.
That hurts.
No other word fits it but devastating, gutting, heartbreaking. Pain. Bad things do happen to good people. And this is an example of that. And all we can say is prayers and positive energy to DeMarvion Overshown. If anyone can overcome it, he absolutely is the one who can overcome it. But you just, in a season that, we said this a few weeks ago, they're seemingly, just when you think you hit rock bottom, a new rock bottom appears.
Yeah.
And here we are at a new rock bottom.
And this one was unfortunate because there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
I mean, he's playing hard. He's going to do
was all
everything.
over the field, man.
He always was.
A player
man.
went into his leg. I saw somebody on Twitter
just got
said, "Oh,
rolled
well,
up.
maybe we should have the turf versus grass conversation."
No.
Well, maybe you should watch the game.
No.
Because this, while that's a valid conversation in some aspects, that's not what happened here. He was in the middle of a play, and another guy just got thrown into his leg.
It's football.
And that's that. That was a football injury.
The other thing about DeMarvion Overshown is there's two paths that can happen now with his career. Either because it was his right knee that got hurt last night, it was his left knee previously that was hurt in the preseason last year going into 2023. So one of two things. Either one, he's going to come back, continue to play at a high level, and he's going to overcome this adversity, and it's going to be one of the best resilient stories on the Cowboys roster, franchise, history, whatever, because he's come back from 2 severe knee injuries to the point where he's still playing at a very high level. So, boom, there's one road. The other road is a realistic chance as well. I don't want to count out DeMarvion Overshown, but he would become one of the biggest what-ifs in Cowboys history.
I would hate that.
And I would
it
just even saying those words
makes you sick, dude.
makes me sick. It absolutely does, because he's been, I mean, going into the preseason last year, he showed all that fire, all that intensity, all that aggressiveness, got hurt. And then it's like, okay, people have come back from worse. We're going to make this work. He's going to get through rehab, get back on the field for 2024. Sure enough, he did. Was playing at a significantly high level. I don't know about All-Pro this year, but he was definitely in the Pro Bowl conversation.
He's in the conversation.
And then the All-Pro conversation in the future was certainly there. Now you've got to wait, maybe not 1, but 2 full seasons to really, or not full seasons, but you get what I mean.
The remainder of this season and all of
more,
next.
more than
possibly.
1.5 calendar years is basically what it would amount to.
And now you got to wait for that significant on the other knee to rehab and get back to it. Micah Parsons said it last night, and I couldn't agree more. You would never wish that upon anybody.
Right.
Nonetheless, somebody like Demo, who people love being around, love playing with, and love watching play at the same time.
DeMarvion Overshown said on his X account, "Wouldn't want this for anyone else. One of God's toughest soldiers. Keep me in your prayers." And regardless of what you believe, I think just the pain kind of comes through on that comment. And
he was just talking about the rehab back from last year in the locker room on Wednesday.
Yeah.
He was just talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and if you want to know exactly how much DeMarvion Overshown already means to this team and this organization, look at the Micah Parsons postgame interview yesterday. Micah Parsons was choked up, literally wiping tears away from his face, thinking about, what the road DeMarvion has ahead of him after the road he's already taken to get to this point, with the devastating torn ACL suffered in preseason ahead of his rookie season. So if there's anything positive to be taken away from it, again, we've seen evidence that DeMarvion Overshown can come back from a tragic knee injury. And the other silver lining, if that's what you want to call it, is that it's not the same knee as it was last year. So when we talk about like John Stevens Jr., you're concerned because he retore that ACL, which weakens it that much more. So we're worried about what he looks like when he gets back. But DeMarvion, it's just a matter of go have the surgery, and we'll see what the extent of it is. But I do get the implication that it is more than just a torn ACL. So
you see these injuries happen all the time. You see this, like you're saying, Kyle, it couldn't happen to a better person. And I don't know, at least whenever you see these injuries happen, it's kind of like, all right, well, that sucks. See him next year, right?
Yeah.
This one is going to hurt for a really long time. And not just selfishly, I'm not just speaking for myself, but if you're talking about the people that support this team and the defense, the players on this defense, where you see DeMarvion Overshown being the heart of it. He is the energy. He is the young buck that has come up to be a star in the making, right? Playmaker, just all over the field. To see that happen to him is really devastating, and just like it really does feel like, what did we do wrong?
This season is claiming souls.
Yes.
And I'm not even going to.
What did we do wrong?
Just go to my Twitter if you want the Chiefs joke about that. I'm not going to make it here.
I saw it
because I don't feel like making it here. But yeah, man. I mean, the list goes on, and unfortunately, it feels like nearly every week. Well, it's not even it feels like, it's true.
It
Nearly
really
every
is.
week the Cowboys lose someone for the season. And you
a tentpole of your team.
And now it's at the point where, well, like we said, the balloon is popped, right? Anybody who was holding on to that minuscule hope for the playoffs, throw it out the window.
Yeah.
So now you want to finish these last 4 games. You want to finish them strong. You want to have some fight. You want to do your evaluations on some of these younger players. But you have to have a very real concern about who might drop next.
Yeah. Because, again, we're talking about 25 at this point.
Yeah.
We're that late in the season where you are talking about 2025, and we want to wish the best to Demo and that recovery because, like you said, injuries are awful no matter what happens.
No matter who
and
they are.
happen to, and the rehab is
Starter,
not any tougher.
backup, no matter what.
But it
doesn't
hits
matter
different when it's someone like Demo.
Exactly. The way that he's gotten to this point and pushed through adversity and was really the bright spot of the 2024 season for the Cowboys, especially on the defensive side, and one of the reasons why they have been playing so well as of late. Him and Micah Parsons, both those guys have stepped up in a big way, and we're looking to push this thing into a 2025 season where the defense looked legitimate again. And we're not going to get that, at least, without Demo.
No, and he was who you were looking at along with Micah Parsons to build off of, and Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland for next season.
He was going to be a cornerstone.
Exactly, a cornerstone to say this is what you build on for next season. You put pieces around this guy, and you are going to be fine. And you don't have that anymore.
Man, fire this season into the sun. Seriously, I'm so.
We can't do that, unfortunately.
So
We've got 4 more games left. When we come back on Talking Cowboys, I don't want to give a pass to Dallas for losing this game at all. There were reasons for them and opportunities for them to win the game. I want to talk about the specific moment after the blocked punt and the punt fiasco, the Bengals blunder, as I called it last night on postgame. I want to talk about the moments after that. There was still a chance for you to win that game, and you did not. When we come back with more on Talking Cowboys. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877. That was the best thing I thought about when I woke up this morning, was getting some Quaker Oats.
That's a good thing to think about.
Use a QR code in the corner.
Yeah, the Quaker code. Still thing. We're sad. It's a sad day. We're sad boy energy here.
It's rough, man.
I like I said going into the break, I don't want to give a pass to the Cowboys because there were multiple chances. You intercept Joe Burrow twice. You have a couple of opportunities to go down and score. Instead, you either pitter-patter and end up with a field goal, and he had another red zone turnover. Things just didn't accumulate the way you wanted to, despite playing well enough to win the game, which the Cowboys did. They played well enough to win. They didn't go and take it either. And they didn't win because of that. They left the door open, and when you do so, the margins are so very slim in these NFL games that just one play can turn the tide, and we saw it there. Even after the special teams blunder, Cincinnati got the ball on their half of the 50. Your defense has a chance to bow up one more time. And I know it's a tough ask. It is a tough ask to stop Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Bengals offense not once, but twice in the fourth quarter from stopping a game-winning drive. But what had happened, I thought it was, like you said, a microcosm of the season, but also that was the first time that I really said, I felt like the effort took a dip. And I don't blame you because of the air leaving the stadium and the situation at hand. But the 40-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase, I thought, was inexcusable as well. And when you look at the film, it was atrocious.
Okay.
The coverage was awful.
So, and this, I'm with you here. This all season, I fought against the wave of criticism about this team's effort.
Yep.
Okay. For me, it was the other word. It was execution. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is the first time I'm going to say this, and I'm right there with you, Kyle. The effort on that play, on the 40-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase, was absolutely not there. It was absent, completely devoid. But it's because of what you said.
Deflation.
That defense was still in shock. After AO muffed that punt, camera panned over to Micah Parsons. Michael was in tears.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was completely beside himself. And this is that's the defense that had to retake the field immediately. They were not mentally on that field for that play that ended up in that 40-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase. They just were not. They were still in a state of absolute shock mentally and emotionally, and that's why you didn't see the effort on that play.
To hold them to 20 points, and then also for Jamar Chase to be that open every single reception, to me
he was dicing up.
It was nasty.
He's incredible. And
because he's doing that to most defense.
Our entire defense was in a blender the entire game. And granted, we talked about this is the first time you're seeing Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, and Jordan Lewis on the field at the same time. The first.
I think it would have been worse if they weren't on the field.
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
You still have
absolutely.
but
I think the chemistry is not there, obviously, because that's their first time ever playing together.
Yeah.
But like you said, after the Amani Oruwariye situation, blocked punt, mistake, all of that, for them to, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy to let that touchdown go, because at that point it's like, what else?
I'm telling you,
what else do we need to give?
They were having an out-of-body experience at that point. On that particular, I'm telling you, on that particular play, they couldn't have told you if they were in Arlington, Texas, or Arlington, Maine, assuming there's an Arlington, Maine. I mean, they were just trying to figure out what the hell had just happened, and before they could kind of reground themselves and get their feet back onto the ground, Joe Burrow had already thrown that ball to Jamar Chase, and Deron Bland missed the tackle because, again, the defense just wasn't there for that play mentally. And then the rest was the rest. And then, you got to put it on the offense as well, because even after that play, the offense did have time to try to come down and do something. But then, Trey Hendrickson gets through for another sack on Cooper Rush, which kind of pushed that drive back even worse. And then from there, it was just,
what was one of the things we talked about coming into this game, or any game against the Dallas Cowboys this season, where it's kind of a get-right game.
It's a get-right game.
It's a get-right game. If you have the weakness on your team, it always tends to look pretty great against the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what the Bengals' weakness was?
The offensive line.
Not just that, they couldn't win close games.
That too. Oh, there you go.
They just got right.
But the offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals, man,
they were terrible.
They're awful.
Yeah.
They're horrendous.
Yeah.
Yet we gave Joe Burrow all day.
Well,
he was getting the ball out fast.
Here's what was happening. What was happening is
there was no
exactly
pressure on
what
Joe
we
Burrow.
sat here on Talkin Cowboys and said would happen.
Yes.
We said pressure will not be enough against Joe Burrow.
Got to get home.
Against a lot of other quarterbacks, pressure is enough to disrupt, knock him off the spot, and you can make some plays off of that. But if you don't get home on him, you knock him off his spot, he sets another spot
Yes.
somewhere else, and he did it time.
He can throw it from anywhere.
His pocket presence
is insane.
Unreal.
is about as good as anybody I've ever seen in the NFL's history out of all the film that we've watched. And he showed a little bit of this at LSU, but he had an incredible offensive line at LSU. So he didn't have to play in a dirty pocket. The pocket was dirty, even on the 40-yard touchdown play. I'm looking at it right now. The pocket was collapsing. Osa Odigizua was working on the inside, and Micah was pressuring off the left side. I don't know if the pressure numbers are even up yet, but he had pressure throughout the night. The thing about Joe Burrow is he can escape it.
Yeah.
And when he escapes it, then it's just backyard football at that point. And when it's backyard football, who do you look for whenever you're looking downfield? You look for your best friend.
Number one.
The one guy you know is going to be open at all times.
That knows you like the back of your hand.
And knows exactly where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing. And guess what? He's got one of those. And his name is Jamar Chase. They went to LSU together, won this thing called a national championship, got drafted just a year apart, and then now we're kicking butt in the NFL together. And
just 14 receptions, 177 yards.
No biggie. He was targeted like 45 times. Not really. But I really do think that's the Cincinnati plan right now is, and Joe has said it before. It's not like he's trying to keep it a secret. He says, when I get in trouble, I work out of the pocket and then I look for Jamar, and somewhere downfield he will be open, and that's what they do. And they did it over and over and over again, including on the 40-yard touchdown in the game.
For the inquisitive fan, explain to me why you can't do that with CeeDee Lamb. Explain to me why CeeDee Lamb isn't open on every single target.
Right now, right this second,
yes,
you don't have the quarterback to conduce that. You don't have the quarterback to give them that opportunity. Remember, entering this game, Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb were both tied with 79 receptions this season. They're tied for second in the NFL in terms of receptions. So it's not like CeeDee Lamb. I saw somebody in my mentions say, why can't we feed our number one receiver the ball? I can't believe there's a lack of creativity
and that's always
on offense.
the game plan.
They're going to give the ball to CeeDee Lamb. He's tied for second in the NFL in receptions with Jamar Chase. So, yes, there was a discrepancy last night, but in general, they've gotten the ball to CeeDee Lamb. But you don't have Cooper Rush who can build something out of nothing from a mobility standpoint. And Dak doesn't really do that a ton either, but Dak's got a better arm and a better wherewithal of pocket presence to be able to do that. Cooper Rush is snap ball, get ball out quickly before the offensive line caves in front of you. So,
but also, and keep in mind, when you're looking at the film from last night, to your point, Kyle, there were several points during the game where Cooper Rush had a clean pocket and still delivered a bad ball.
Yeah, he doesn't have the arm.
Didn't see CeeDee Lamb being wide open.
And that goes to Isaiah's point from our last episode, is that there's no velocity on Cooper Rush's ball.
There were a couple times where
ducks, man,
it fell off the table. And sometimes you want that kind of touch. There was one play I think of that was a completion. I can't remember if it was the second or the third quarter, where he went over the top of a linebacker and dropped it, and it kind of died at the end, and it went right to the receiver. It was a great throw. You wanted it there. But there are a lot of times the Kevontae Turpin deep ball right sideline was one that I thought Turpin didn't necessarily have any room or separation in his own right, but that ball was 10 yards underthrown. I mean, it was, if you're going to lead Kevontae Turpin, lead Kevontae Turpin. He's the fastest man in the NFL, by God's sake. I mean, lead him. Yeah. They left it 10 yards short. And that's normal. That's normal to see from Cooper Rush. That's why he's a backup quarterback. Yeah. And he's limited. And that's why when people decide to hate on Dak and hate on his mistakes and clamor that, hey, he's not the franchise quarterback, they don't grow on trees, people. They really don't. And you've got a solidified backup quarterback in Cooper Rush, and yet you can still see why there's a discrepancy between him and the starter caliber in this league.
And to answer your question, the Cowboys can do that with CeeDee Lamb because they have done that with CeeDee Lamb. Look at last year, for example, when Dak and CeeDee Lamb were firing on all cylinders and the play calling was firing on all cylinders, literally broke records. CeeDee Lamb literally has a pair of gloves now in Canton because of a couple.
He had a better year than Jamar Chase last year. Now it's Chase's turn.
Coming into this season, it was Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, and you could have the argument 1A, 1B.
I put Chase up there too.
No, I mean as far as 1, 2, right? So Chase was like 3, Right, he was.
I think they're all incredible.
Well, now, he's incredible.
Yeah.
But based off the season, of the 2023 season, it was Justin Jefferson versus CeeDee Lamb, and of course, that was also what fueled who's going to end up getting the bigger contract, right?
Yeah.
Now, CeeDee Lamb has taken a step back, not because of CeeDee Lamb, but because of other factors. The play calling, you could question that. His shoulder, obviously. You lose Dak, but then things were still kind of shaky because he missed training camp with the holdout, so he got off to a slow start. All these things mattered. All these things are true. But I say that to say this offense, with Dak Prescott under center and Mike McCarthy as a play caller, have shown that they can do what Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, and Jamar Chase are doing right now. But this is just the season of Murphy's Law. Nothing's going right.
Well, what you just said, you still have the same play caller from last season. I just don't think the plays are necessarily there for CD, and a big part of that is the quarterback that you have.
Exactly. I think the playbook goes from here to here.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on Cooper Rush as a person and as a preparator. I don't even know what that word would be. But a studier. And whenever it comes to the playbook, a studious Cooper Rush. No, what it does is it's just his limitations as a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I don't know. There might be another quarterback situation that would work a little better depending on the dual threat that they might give you at some point in the season.
He hitting you for $5.1 million.
Wow. I don't know.
Jerry alluded to it on the fan this morning. We're getting closer to Trey Lance. We're getting closer to that. And we talked about this a little bit in the break, but I don't think you'll see Trey Lance until the Cowboys are mathematically eliminated. Whether that's next week or the week after or whatever it may be final 2 games of the year. If they're mathematically eliminated from postseason contention, I think that's when you'll see Trey Lance.
And I don't want to say that should be the case or shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
Just for your sake, you're in charge of the team. Would you be seeing him by now?
No.
You wouldn't be seeing Trey Lance.
I wouldn't. I saw a lot during the preseason, and I get there's an unknown factor of
with 2s and 3s.
You're playing with 2s and 3s for the most part right now too. Other than CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, I mean you're banged up front. You don't have a ton going on offensively. I saw enough from Trey Lance to say, okay, I have enough here to say Cooper Rush is still going to give me a great chance to win games. With that being said, I don't think you need to shelf him for the rest of the year. I still think you'll see him. I just don't think right now is the right time for that.
Yeah.
You can still finish above 500, and then all of a sudden we're talking about.
I think I know Pat's answer.
Yeah, Pat would have seen him 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter. You got 4 games left. Just I would say ride it out, but the train isn't even on the rails right now. So you're just waiting for the sun to finish going down at this point.
You know what's going to make us feel better? You know what will make us feel better?
Oats.
Black Rifle Coffee.
All of those things. But taking phone calls. We're going to take some phone calls. 888-855-2297. We want to get your thoughts on how you're feeling on this Tuesday after the Cowboys fall to the Bengals 27-20 at AT&T Stadium. First time the Bengals had beaten the Cowboys at home since 1988.
Sick.
Ouch. I thought you said we were going to feel better.
Yeah, sorry, dude. 888-855-2297. We'll be right back with more Talking Cowboys.
Knife twisted.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment of the show is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome in. Alongside Josh Rodriguez, Patrik Walker, I'm Kyle Youmans, Isaiah Stanback on Good Morning Football. Today, we've got to take some calls.
Coward.
888-855. If anything, he's talking about the Cowboys on a national standpoint. They immediately, when we walked in here, I looked up there and he had a tiny little Santa hat on, and they did a freeze frame with it. And he was just talking about the game, and I was like, "Yeah, sorry, dude. That one. Thanks for everything. Appreciate you." All right. 888-855-2297. We're going to talk to Cowboys Nation here during this final segment. It is a Talkin' Tuesday. Let's go to Champ in Nebraska. Champ, you're on Talking Cowboys. Thanks for calling again.
Hey, bud. How's it going? Good to talk to you guys.
It's going, Champ. It's going.
Oh, my gosh. No, see, I saw your Twitter last night and commented on the one guy that was complaining about blocking the punt. And I was like, what is this guy? Well, he's from Cleveland, so that must make sense. But anyway.
Nuts, man.
Guys,
I'll tell you.
The last few weeks have been fun winning. It's always fun to win.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the season a few weeks back were it's probably not going to go the way we'd like, so let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
But last night was horrible for the fact that defense did everything great. Even that last drive, I don't put on them because, like you guys said earlier, they were in shock of what had just happened.
Sure.
That mistake by A.O., I was so angry with him because he was trying to be a hero, and like Nosey said earlier, we didn't need a hero in that moment. People talk about the Leon Lett thing. Leon Lett was trying to help the team because he thought, I need to recover this ball so that we can win. A.O. was saying, I want to take this ball back and be the hero when we win. Big difference. Huge difference. And that's what was upsetting to me about his mistake last night.
Yeah.
Also, McCarthy just not sticking with the run. Rico is just running it down these guys' throats. Rico could have had close to a 200-yard game.
Agreed.
And he went away from it.
Yeah.
14-yard run on that drive in the fourth quarter, and then a pass to the flat that Cooper can't get to Ferg, and then two more passes, and we're punting. I was like, what is wrong? Like, why are you doing that? So I love the show. I love you guys. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be a fan. But, man, was that frustrating. And then, like you said, Demo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, my heart breaks for that man.
No doubt.
Everything he did to come back and be what he was doing, where he was at, and to have this happen, man, my heart and prayers go out to him.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
hang up. I'll let somebody else call in, but guys, this one was hard to swallow yesterday.
Agreed.
No doubt about it. Thanks for the
Champ.
call, Champ. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So what he's speaking of is I've seen a couple of people say it. One said it directly to me, and then I've seen some other writers kind of putting it out there. They were blaming the decision to block the punt.
That's
What?
ridiculous.
So,
That's
so
ridiculous.
let me hold on. Let me be clear.
How does that make sense?
Let me be
They're
clear.
saying
The problem
They're
was
blaming John Fossil.
They're
for that.
blaming Fossil and Nick
What
Vigil.
are we talking
and Nick
about?
Vigil for actually blocking the punt, not the gaffe that AO orchestrated thereafter.
I've got something on that too,
Yeah,
just based off of what
let
Champ said.
Let me just
but-
be clear, okay? Because it was a fan that said it to me, and then I effectively had to put that fan, unfortunately, in a bag and send him home with a tag on his toe. But there are other writers saying this. I realize other writers were colleagues, but let me be clear. And feel free to call me, text me, email me, send me a Western Union, Telegram, Pony Express.
I would love if somebody
I want you to understand, look at me in my eyes and understand, you have lost your damn mind. I don't want to hear any of that BS that you're talking about. Learn ball. That blocked field goal, that blocked punt would have put the Cowboys immediately in field goal position.
Yeah.
We just spent most of the last segment talking about how the offense was struggling. Cooper Rush wasn't making the throws.
Yep.
And Champ so eloquently called in and reminded everyone that they were getting away from running the ball with Rico Dowdle.
Which they did.
There were problems with the offense moving the ball, which is why they only had 20 points to begin with. So you're to tell me that you are more confident in the offense and Cooper Rush being able to drive that ball 80, 70 yards or 50 yards. But so you say, well,
Brandon Aubrey is a kicker.
He can kick a 65-yarder. Brandon Aubrey is an absolute monster. Hasn't he missed a couple?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking guarantees, none of that's guaranteed. No more guaranteed than the pump block would have been. But the pump block worked. All you had to do thereafter was not touch the ball. And if you do that, you get the ball in field goal position, and then you can run the ball, kick the ball.
With less than 2 minutes
without giving Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow more time. So anybody who is blaming the actual block and not what happened after that, feel free to never talk ball to me again. Ever.
Yeah, I don't even know where that comes from. I really don't. That makes absolutely no sense. If you're blaming the block, then I don't know, man.
It's how you cope with
if you're so concerned about the scenario of
AC Slater gift. Stupid.
It's dumb. If you're talking about Brandon Aubrey kicking a 65-yard field goal, right? 65-yarder. I get it. He's a great weapon for you. Whatever it may be, you go back and drive into field goal range. If that block punt does not get touched by Amani Oruwariye, we're talking about that as one of the plays of the season. Of the year. Nick Vigil blocking a punt. If it wins you the game with just over a couple minutes left, yeah, dude. I don't know where that.
Then we're praising John Fossil here today.
Yeah,
and honestly, as we still should be,
probably should,
because it was a great call and it worked, and you put your players in the best position to succeed.
Call, and Nick Vigil deserves praise for what he did, not to be looked upon as the person to blame. Are you kidding me?
I hate that guy forced a fumble. I hate that.
What are you talking about?
That's dumb.
Don't ball.
I hear cricket is hiring fans. Go over there.
They probably are. When
cricket's pretty bad.
We're talking about Amani Oruwariye and that whole scenario. I thought Jordan Lewis put it really well yesterday. Yes, it's a mistake. Yes, the ball was past the line of scrimmage. It's a live football. It acts as a punt. Get away from it. And everybody, and like you said, everybody should have gotten away from it.
We all knew.
Champ there, he brought up the point. He said he was trying to pick up the ball and run. He was leaning forward. He was trying to recover that ball. He wasn't trying to get up and run. He was trying to recover it. That guy, in terms of Amani, he was diving for the football to recover the football. He wasn't diving on it to take it back to the house and be a hero.
He wasn't trying to pull
It was very much so what Leon Lett was trying to do. He thought it was a live ball, as in a fumble. Didn't know the rules, which is a mistake in its own right. But I'm not going to sit here and say he was trying to play the ultimate hero and it was a selfish move. Whatever he was doing, he felt like was best at the time. You just got to know the rules.
Terrible
and
mistake.
For those that are wondering and they're saying, "Oh, well, the rule is stupid," just so you understand, a blocked punt is still a punt.
Still a punt. Because it leaves the kickers.
Right. The only difference is it didn't go 50 yards. It went 14 yards. Yeah. So just like if it went 50 yards and the kicking team recovered it, it's their ball. If it's blocked and it goes 14 yards and the kicking team recovers it, it's their ball.
Well, and if you were to treat it as a live football the way that Amani thought it would, then that just turns every blocked punt into a crapshoot.
Yep.
Is what it would turn it into. So that's why it's the rule. You can block a punt, and it still acts as a punt if it crosses a line of scrimmage. That's the key word. Yeah. It has to cross
Hate
the line
the rule
of
or
scrimmage.
love the rule. The fact is the rule is the rule. And
it is the rule.
You got to know the
it.
rule, especially situational football.
Last call. Let's go to Larry out in South Carolina. Larry, you're on Talkin Cowboys. What's going on?
All right, thanks for my call. It was a bummer last night, but my wife was telling me to be quiet because I kept saying, Rico, for gosh.
He had a great game, man.
He was so, my wife was like, be quiet, you're going to wake the neighbors. I'm like, I don't care. And Rico's running.
Good for you.
Now, my question is to no seed.
Yeah.
Put your jacket on. Maybe it's too early in the week, but I'm going to be in Charlotte Sunday. Can we at least win that game?
Appreciate the call, Larry.
Give me good science.
Okay. All right.
Find it. Find it, Pat.
It's the NFL, so you can win. You can win because it's the NFL. Odds are against you, though, especially with Bryce Young getting confident. And you're also going to likely, we'll see how the week goes, but you're likely going to be without Cooper Beebe, your starting center, on top of losing DeMarvion Overshown because Cooper Beebe left the game with a concussion on last night, and he's moving into a short week. So if you recall what happened with Jake Ferguson, he was moving into short week, and he missed not one but 2 games. So we'll see if Cooper Beebe is available, but there's another shakeup on the offensive line. The umpteenth one this season. As you saw, Brock Hoffman went to center, TJ Bass went to right guard. So that lineup, we'll see if Tyler Guyton is healthy, but there's a chance it'll be Chuma Edoga, Tyler Smith, Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, and Terrence Steele.
Who could have predicted that?
Just like we all thought at the start of the year.
Yeah, so the adversity continues to stack, but again, never say never in the NFL. Just ask the Browns versus the Steelers. Yeah. But you're up against it as far as walking into Carolina and trying to lead with a win there.
Well, I think a way that you win that game is those guys continue to play well. I think if you would have told me at the start of the year in training camp that by week 15 it was going to be that starting 5, I'd be like, I have zero confidence whatsoever in this offense. And it's not like I'm super confident anyways. But I think this offensive line has done a tremendous job of filling in the holes.
You still have zero confidence, but it's not because of the offensive line.
It's not because of the offensive line. There's a couple other things that are playing there.
And it's not Rico either.
Rico was phenomenal. You and I looked over at you at the press box, leaned back, and I was like, Rico.
I could just feel eyes on me.
Yeah, because that's what you do. Mm-hmm. So back-to-back 100-yard rushing games for the first time in his career and set a new career high last night over the week prior. So Rico is firing on all cylinders. You just got to stop getting away from him. And that shouts out to not only what Rico is being able to do and showing his – there was a couple of times I wish he was a bit more patient. There was a particular play where he cut back inside, but the lane had opened wide on the right between the guard and Terrence Steele. Mm-hmm. And he just didn't wait that split second for it to develop and to turn into like a 3-yard game versus maybe like a 9-yard game. Yeah. But for the most part, Rico was balling. Cowboys just got to keep handing him the ball off. And, again, that's also credit to the offensive line because even with this shuffling going on, guys like Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, obviously Tyler Smith continues to play at a high level. And, Terrence Steele, he's playing some good football too. So that O-line is doing some things.
Yeah, they are definitely doing some things. And they're doing it while rotating and maneuvering and revolving door and musical chairs, all sorts of stuff.
Maneuvering. I like that.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, I liked it.
Last night I said on the pregame show I was talking about decimals. Like I was emphasizing a number of one of the stats or whatever, and I was like, normally we don't use decibels. And I was like, and immediately Jerry Madelon texted me. He was like, it's decimals. And I was like, yeah, I'm dealing with decibels with this echo on the plaza because there's like a 2-second delay. It was it was just mistakes happen. I also ripped my pants all the way down last night too.
What?
Yeah. I need to find the picture. I should have brought the pants in there. They're still in my truck. My suit pants that I wore for pregame live, as soon as I sat down in the press box, I'm talking from like belt down to the crotch area. All the way down.
Dad bod coming in hot.
Oh, dude.
Even Kyle's pants have to go on season-ending.
Torn. Yep. Torn
seams.
Torn seams all the way
Unbelievable.
through. I had to go. I walked like
nothing safe.
I did the walk of shame like out of the press box as sneakily as I could. Went all the way down. That's a good way to end Talking Cowboys. Went all the way down to my truck went all the way out to the parking lot, had a pair of jeans in the truck, changed into those, and then walked to Walmart across the street. So I went from the truck to Walmart, bought a pair of the only slacks, black slacks I could find, put those on. It was funny. I didn't even have my credit card with me. It was in the press box. I had to Zelle the person in front of me in the checkout line.
Oh my
and then
God.
walked back to my truck, changed into my suit pants, walked back up to the press box and acted like nothing ever happened.
This is the 2024 season.
Yep, that's 100%.
A microcosm.
Microcosm of how this thing
Kyle
happens.
walking to Walmart, feeling the draft on his legs.
No, I put the jeans on before I walked to Walmart. The walk out to the truck, I felt the draft.
Getting the briskness.
The little brisk.
In God's places.
Let me just say this. Get you a friend like Barry Church, because Barry was sitting right next to me whenever it happened, because I sat down. We just got back in from the pregame show. Sat down. I felt it. And then I looked at Barry. I was like, hey, I need you to do me a favor, dude. I was like, you need to tell me how bad this is. And he was like, what happened? I was like, I tore my pants. I was like, I got to see how bad it is. I'm going to stand up, but you're going to just take a look at it, and you're going to tell me how bad it is. He was like, all right, I got you. I stood up. He goes, go ahead and sit back down. Go ahead and sit back down. It was bad. So good little laugh for you and for me and for everybody to end what was otherwise a sad night. At AT&T Stadium, 27-20 the final. We'll be back tomorrow. We're already turned to the page. Like Patrick said, it is a short week. The Carolina Panthers are coming up. We're going to do the Cowboys defensive preview against Bryce Young and company, who are starting to pick up some steam on their offensive side of the ball. How can the Cowboys, without DeMar being overshown, help slow things down from Carolina? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Tommy Yarish will join the show as well. For Patrick No C. Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talkin Cowboys. We'll see you for Wednesday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!